Hey Merfolk fans, I'm Joe. Thanks very much for joining me. I'm here with a recap of my first month on Magic Online. You guys know that just about a month ago, I decided to make the switch from Cockatrice to Magic Online. And I just wanted to take a minute and let you guys know how my first month has gone. I was a little bit afraid making the transition because, well, it involves, the investment of hundreds of dollars up front to buy a deck, and then incremental amounts of money to compete in tournaments. And the proposition of potentially not performing well and losing all of that money, I don't know, is a little bit scary. But basically in this sort of summary here, I want to let you guys know, any of you guys who are playing on free platforms like Cockatrice or XMage, that you shouldn't really be too afraid of making the switch to Magic Online. If you're serious about a deck, I guess in this case most of you are serious about Merfolk, you should be able to do pretty well enough to eventually make back your investment and do pretty well, and potentially go infinite, like some people have been able to do on Magic Online. So let's go ahead and take a look at my deck. Pretty much exactly the way that it looked at the beginning of the month. The one small change I made was in the sideboard, I used to have a third Tidebinder Mage, and I substituted that for a third Dispel. Now, you guys know that the matchups that Tidebinder Mage is good in, he sort of excels, right? You have sort of Burn, Jund, Abzan, Infect, Blue-Red Kiln Fiend, all those decks, he's really solid. But against most of those decks, actually the most explosive of those decks that we can lose against sort of in the blink of an eye, namely Infect, Blue-Red Kiln Fiend, Dispel is actually a much more effective card to have. The matchups where Tidebinder Mage does well, we tend to do pretty well already, and we can manage the game throughout sort of a long sort of end game, like against Jund and Abzan. But against these faster decks, we really need Dispel. Let's take, for example, Infect, right? Their green creatures, a Noble Hierarch, Glistener Elf, are really not the main threats. We have so many creatures in the deck, we can block, even chump Glistener Elves for days. The problem is the Blighted Agents that Tidebinder Mage does nothing against. We really want to have a card like Dispel in hand to counter, Become Immense, Might of Old Krosa, those spells that will just kill us on the spot in combination with a Blighted Agent. So when I made the switch, I was pretty sure that it would do well in the metagame, and it has since panned out really nicely. The third Dispel is doing a ton of work. The Dispel also does sort of double duty, helping us in other matches beyond what Tidebinder Mage helps us in. It Dispel helps against combo matches like Ad Nauseam. It also helps us against Control, against Grixis, against Jeskai. Any deck that wants to throw instant spells at us, Dispel does a great job, and for a really cheap cost. So I'm really happy with the sideboard right now, and I've been happy with the main deck for a while. I think looking at the sideboard, Relic, I'm fine with 2 copies. We do pretty well against Dredge anyway, and other matchups like Jund and Abzan, we already have solid game against. We don't have too many flexible spots, I think, in the sideboard. I feel really solid with my choices right now. I have seen a fair amount of Affinity and Lantern Control, so I'm definitely going to stick with the 4 Hurkyl's Recalls. I don't like the shift some people have been making to gut shots. We can't often afford the loss of life. It's similar to Dismember in that sense. I'd rather just stick with my Vapor Snags and Echoing Truth. Gut Shot is decent against Affinity, but Hurkyl's Recall is much better. That matchup is so hard for us. Lantern Control is similarly difficult, I think, and Hurkyl's Recall is just the card to have in those situations, and like I mentioned, they have been coming up. So that's a short recap of how the deck has been performing. If we look just above that, we see the event tickets and treasure chests and play points, those kinds of things. So again, this summary is generally for those of you who have been playing Cockatrice and XMage. Those of you who already play Magic Online know how these things work, but when you buy Magic Online, you pay $10 and you get 5 event tickets, which are basically Magic bucks, and you can use them to enter events. The friendly leagues that I've been competing in require 8 event tickets, so you need to pay a few more dollars up front. You can enter the match. If you do well, you're rewarded with play points, which you can use to enter subsequent tournaments. And if you do very well, you get some number of treasure chests. Now, treasure chests, when I joined, Magic, they were also very new to the program. And just a couple days after I signed up, they became tradable. And at that moment, they were trading at about 4 tickets per treasure chest, which I thought was a very good rate, and basically the same as a contemporary booster pack, so about $4. So if I did well in a tournament, I would immediately trade the treasure chest for event tickets, since event tickets are sort of like the solid currency of the system, whereas treasure chests and booster packs can be a little bit variable depending upon the demand for them. So treasure chest, I'm discovering though, they started out at about $4 or 4 event tickets per treasure chest, but since then have been dropping a little bit. And I expect treasure chest to have sort of a value cycle. So unlike booster packs in Magic Online, where if I open a Kaladesh booster pack a year from now, I'm going to be opening Kaladesh cards. If I open a treasure chest a year from now, the contents will be different than if I open them today. Treasure chests, their contents change depending on what the current cards are included in them. So if a new Commander product comes out, if a new expansion comes out, if they decide to include new premium promos in the treasure chests, if I open them 2 years from now, whatever those products are, I have the chance to open those, not whatever the products are when I won the treasure chest. So if Wizards makes an announcement that there's some new and exciting things available inside of a treasure chest, I expect that the value of the chests will spike. And at that moment, I would unload all these chests that I've accrued and basically convert them to event tickets. When the demand goes back down, I'll keep competing, I'll keep accruing treasure chests. When the value spikes, I'll unload them. And so I expect that's how it's going to work. I don't really want to trade all of my chests in right now at about the 3 ticket value that they're at right now, because I have a feeling that they can go up higher than that, pending any announcements that Wizards makes that gets people all excited about treasure chests again. However, if we look at the treasure chests that I have right now and just multiply them by about 3 event tickets, we see I have about 165 tickets worth of product in the treasure chests. And you add that to the 77 tickets that I have over to the left, and you're looking at about 242 event tickets. When I bought into Merfolk at the beginning of, about a month ago, I paid just about 220 tickets or $220 for the Merfolk deck. So I don't know if my experience is typical, or if you guys make the plunge into Magic Online, if you'll have the same results. But within the first month, I've more than paid off my initial investment into the Merfolk deck. So I feel great about that, because moving forward, it's all kind of gravy as long as I maintain a decent win rate. So again, I've mostly been playing almost exclusively, I should say, been playing in modern-friendly tournaments. So if we look at the structure, down at the bottom of this list here, you see prizes. For between 5 and 0 match wins, there's different prizes available. As long as you hit 3 match wins, you get back your entry fee, which is 80 play points, and some number of treasure chests, depending on 3, 4, or 5. Now, friendly modern leagues are different than competitive modern leagues in the sense that if you win 2 matches in a friendly league, you get back half of your entry, which is pretty great, because that means if you have to buy back in, say that you get 2 match wins again, twice in a row. Now, for the 3rd tournament, you've got enough play points to enter again. You don't have to pay the 3rd time. As long as you're getting 2 match wins, you're basically paying half price to compete, which is much easier to sustain than the competitive leagues, where we can see under the prizes section here that there's absolutely nothing given for performance less than 3 match wins. And it costs more to enter. Basically, you have to pay 50% more than in the friendly leagues. And if you win 3, you get back your entry plus 1 treasure chest, the same exact prize payout as the friendlies. It's only if you win 4 or 5 matches in a league that the competitive leagues get really interesting, because you not only win the treasure chest, but you also get boosters, you get your play points, and you get these cool things called qualifier points. Now, if you accrue 35 qualifier points, you can compete in a monthly, larger, sort of exclusive event. If you do well in that, you can sort of leverage your performance higher and higher until you get to the Magic Online Championship, potentially going to Pro Tours and things like that. So the path leading to that kind of higher level competition is definitely through these competitive modern leagues. But to sustain your initial investment, it can be certainly trickier, harder to maintain. Not necessarily because of the level of the competition, but I'm sure that that's involved for sure. But just because if you have if you slip up a little bit and get only 2 match wins, then you're suddenly out $12 or 12 event tickets or 120 play points. You don't get anything. You don't get half of your entry back for 2 match wins like in the friendly leagues. So anyhow, I've been doing the friendlies and I've found it totally manageable to go infinite. I haven't had to pay anything all month to play basically. So let's go ahead and look at some numbers really quick for my performance this month. I played in 170 matches. That's exactly 34 leagues. Remember, 5 match tournaments. So 5 times 34 is 170 matches. I won 110 of those. And that basically calculates to a 65% win rate, which is, I have to say, I think pretty solid for Merfolk. Where we kind of float between tier 2, tier 1, depending on the metagame, depending on how many people are playing Merfolk at any given moment. But 65% is well above 50, and I'm not unhappy with it. Looking at another number that can that informs my performance, I think, a little bit. It lets me know how I'm doing, a way to measure myself, is my rating. Magic has in the account tab, under game history, you can see at the top of the screen here, there's a constructed rating. Now the limited rating and constructed rating by default are set to 1600 when you start up the program. If you beat players, your score goes up a little bit, and if you lose to players, your score goes down a little bit. So you can see here that my current rating is 1794, just below 1800. I've been sort of going up above, down below, basically 1800. Now I did a tiny bit of research on Reddit, and somebody gathered a bunch of data and figured out that the 1800 mark is sort of the top 10% of competition. Now, the highest rating that I managed during this month was 1835. The same Reddit thread said that 1850 and above is about the top 2% of competitors. That's sort of the top, the second top 2 percentile. So here's just a screenshot of that. I like to take screenshots of the highest rating that I achieve in order to just document for myself. But yeah, here are some of my numbers from the first month. I just thought I'd share them with you, as well as just recording them for myself to track my own progress. Now, one other thing that Magic Online tracks is the number of 5-0s that you get, and they call those trophies basically. Now, I was able to do that 4 times this month. That number is shown in the league table screen, and you can see all of the users and the number of undefeated trophies that they've got. So the guy on the top has almost twice the closest competition, but then it drops off really quickly, and you can see there's a bunch of 7s and 6s. I have to go down only a couple of pages to get to my name. You can see in the middle here, MTGO, and I have 4 undefeateds right now. This league goes on for 6 more weeks, so all I need is a couple more undefeated trophies, 5-0 results, in order to get up to that top leader page, which I would be pretty excited about. So anyhow, here are those numbers: 65% win percentage, highest rating around 1835, but averaging around 18. We'll see how that develops in the coming month. Now, my goals moving forward for the new year, I only really have 2 at this point. The first one is something I can definitely manage. I'm going to start tracking matchup-specific win percentages. So I'll keep a spreadsheet. If I play against Blue-Red Kiln Fiend and I win, I'll put a tally, under the win column for that matchup. If I play against Infect and I lose, I'll put a tally in that box. And I can share these numbers with you, and in this way, hopefully inform our sideboard decisions. Basically, it should give us a lot of information, a lot of data about what decks are actually being played in what amounts, and how we perform against those decks. If there's a deck that's showing up a lot and we're losing to a lot, it would indicate that we probably need to allocate more sideboard slots to it. So that's my first goal, is to make a little bit more use of the available data in all of these matches that I've been playing. Now the second goal, a little bit scarier, is to try the competitive leagues. Now I say scary, again, not because of the level of competition, but because the prize payout is much harsher. If I don't manage 3 wins in one of the leagues, then I'm just out 12 event tickets or 120 play points, basically $12. But on the flip side, if I do go 4-1 or 5-0, then I can start to accrue some qualifier points and potentially play in these larger events with more prizes, potentially leading to sort of championship series things, potentially Pro Tour qualification. And that stuff is pretty exciting for me. It's not really my main motivation for playing, but just like it's been exciting just basically winning event tickets over the past month, there's just another level to take it to. And, you know, I think I might try that out in 2017. Now that I've accrued a bunch of treasure chests and event tickets, I've got some wiggle room where I can stand to potentially lose a little bit if I don't perform very well. And if I need to, I can always switch back to the friendly leagues where it seems to be pretty manageable for me to keep going infinite. So that's it, guys. Here's the final shot of the deck again. Please let me know any questions you might have. I would love to know if any of you guys have made the switch to Magic Online since you saw that I did it. And yeah, let me know any other questions or comments you might have, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks very much. Bye.